we've, yet another clean sheet. We haven't said that for a while. I'm saying it, yet another. That's 3 and 4, I think, if my maths are right. Just wonderful performance, and there's nothing I can really find fault, and I'm not looking to find fault anyway. I just think it was wonderful, and all I would just say is to Gino Pozzo, is to Scott Duxbury, you have a fantastic opportunity to now. If you sit on your hands and just think, yeah, we're a young squad, let's let it go, I think you're making a mistake, because I think you need to strengthen. I'm not saying I want 6 players in. I want 2 good quality players in the positions that I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Let the other guys still come along. Help Javi. I've seen 2 statements from Pozzo and Duxbury today. Not one of them actually said we're going to sit down with Javi and see what he needs. And it actually felt a little bit like backtracking, which a little bit alarmed me. That's the only sort of slight negative for today. I hope I've read it wrong, but you can all read their comments and make your own mind up. I didn't see Javi, this is great, we're right on the cusp. What do you need? We'll get it. Let's see if that's just them underplaying it and they will deliver. This is a big month now for Watford Football Club. This really could decide our season. And, I'm documented. I'm not particularly loving Premiership football, but I appreciate my football club needs to be in the Premier League to get the money to either get a new change of ownership and Mr. Pozzo can go and retire and sell up or whatever, or it enables us to continue to be a very strong Championship team for many seasons to come, using the money that we get in the Premier League. So there we go. Wonderful afternoon, a great performance. I loved seeing everything about what the players put in today. Everybody put in a shift, and the lovely thing to see was people like in the second half, Mama, I think Luca went off and he's standing on the touchline and he's applauding him off. And then I look around the Watford players, and nearly to a man, every Watford player is applauding their colleague who's going off. There's a team spirit there. Javi had to change things, whether it's by luck, default, Mamadou going away, and it's just he's had to change. Doesn't really matter. It's changed. He's gone away from the pure 4-4-2. He's got that extra man in the middle, and we look a completely different team because of it. So full credit to Javi Gracia. The feel-good factor's there at Watford now. I hope the fans continue to come out. I really do hope that happens. I know there'll be plenty up at Hull on Sunday. Another tough game for us in a short period, but loved every minute of it. Happy New Year to everybody. Come on, you Horns.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Well, look, as ever, thank you so much, Rich, and thank you so much for everything in 2025. And appreciate that some people go, Rich gives everybody something to react to, positively or negatively, however you like to see it. And you've done an absolute storming job for us as always. Welcome everybody to via YouTube. Sorry, it was if for some reason it didn't start off. It now, I believe, is. So if you're now seeing this ugly fizzog, my apologies, but happy day, 3-0. We're really excited. Go figure. Let's get to Brett, the player manager of Backgammon FC. If anybody's following the most miserable prediction league known to man, Brett, you must be very happy.
Pete, firstly, I've got quite a few subject points, right?
Oh dear, we know that, right?
Okay. Catch up a bit because I've tried to get on a couple of times in the last however many games.
Okay.
And it's not been successful.
Bullet points.
So I feel like we've got a bit of catch up going on.
Firstly, let's do this. Number one.
The most perfect intro from you about hangovers and making it to the game. And then me thinking that I have an apology to Rich because I'm one of those guys with a season ticket that didn't fucking come today because I had a massive hangover. So between you and Rich, it's like, no, I didn't. I'm glad he said, by the way, towards the end of his call that it looked really quite buzzing in the Vic and everyone had turned out.
It was a good atmosphere.
Thankfully. Do you imagine how bad I would have felt?
That's all right. I'm forgiving you. It's within my papal remit.
How many Hail Marys?
At least 3 of them. And those are just passes at the end. We didn't need them today. We were 3-0 up. Normally we know 94th minute. Okay, point number 2.
No, that's not a finished point.
Oh, okay.
Because I watched it on TV, like with a massive hangover, but I then resumed drinking because that's the best way to cure a hangover.
Well done, well done. Good
But
medical advice.
The thing is that I'll come back to the game, but just on the subject of backgammon, my New Year's resolutions are one, trying to call in a bit more often, and hopefully like get a better phone so that it works.
New Year's resolutions.
Right?
That's a whole podcast in itself. Yeah, go on, carry on.
Doing a bit more dice rather than just calling in the result, because obviously the dice have worked to a certain extent, although my calling in has maybe worked better than definitely than Carl and Justin.
Frankly, phoning it in,
same as them.
No, frankly, phoning it in is a fine DNSYE tradition in every sense of the metaphor.
Especially with your new graphics, may I add?
Oh well,
they are absolutely astounding.
As always. Right, have we done point one? Can we move on to point two? I want to find out about the game. Yes, please do.
The game.
Go on.
Okay, I'm going to call out a few players first of all. Right, Iran Kunda has finally been told that if he can run with the ball and then create with the ball and don't try and run it in the net, which, by the way, Chak also has improved on, because we had a lot of time where we would look at Chak and say, what are you doing? You're just trying to run with it into the net. So he's improved. Aaron Kunda, we are seeing the player that this is, which is like basically Javi. Okay, this is gratitude for all of us. It's New Year. It's a new year. Let's all have gratitude for what is happening at our club. We look like a Premier League side. The way we are playing, we've just won 12 points because we are playing like a Prem team in the Championship. The numbers of our patterns of play that are coming off, the triangles, the close to the end. It's like, I'm looking at this team. Look at the dross we've had for so many years. And he's brought Javi back. So this is the wider point. This is where Uncle Ron, his ears prick up when I say, are we amiss of not actually looking at Pozzo and saying, how hard is it to own a club like Watford? We had many great years. The young uns who have come in think that Watford are a Premier League club.
Right, yeah.
And we've done that. And then we've had these years of dross in the Championship. And the two ways that go in this situation is you become a Watford in League Two, or you become a Watford that's fighting for promotion.
Brett, can I ask,
done that.
May I ask a question? Because I appreciate we can go through the entire history of the positive.
Okay.
But you did say hungover, watch the game, and now I've started drinking again. How much into the drinking are you currently?
Grateful. I've drunk quite a lot of rum, but it's really helped my hangover. It's so helped my hangover. And by the way, I couldn't have fucking afford the drink at Watford to make me feel like this. And also I would have had to get home to North London.
Well, okay. Well, you have all our sympathy.
I'm safer.
Brett.
Anyway,
Brett,
I'm saying, okay.
No. Brett.
No,
Shut up a minute. This is Brett. I can tell Brett to shut up. He knows on occasions I tell him to shut up.
After a bottle of rum, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. After Captain Morgan. Your point about end product is actually really, really interesting. Can you imagine? You've had Bar go out, you've had Vata go out, you've had Chak Fadadza take a long time to come in. But the point that you said there was, look, you can do something, you can create, but you've got to create something at the end of it. Can you imagine those players sitting in the stands or sitting watching training and watching a young lad come back from the under-20s World Cup without a load of physicality, not having played a huge amount of senior football, certainly none in England, and absolutely ripping it up like Othman Mama has? And everybody pointing to, yes, he's got goals, but he's also got assists as well.
Okay, Pete, he has
been, no, not yet. You can wait for a minute. He has been the exemplar to players who are 1, 2, 3, and 4 years older than him in some instances there. And I think sometimes as a coach or as a manager, you can do all the coaching you want to the individual player, but on occasions you can just go, see him. That's what you've got to do. And I think those players being out, being frustrated, not being able to get back in, seeing him, I think must be at least in part a reason why you're suddenly going to hopefully see even more end product, because you can do it's like, as they say on the golf course, you drive for show, you putt for dough. It's the final ball that counts, and that's where they are. Go on then, let's have your quick reaction, and then I'm going to come off to Mike Duffy.
Huge. No, Pete, this is massive, right? We were at the beginning of the season, we're telling ourselves we've got an amazing young squad. The decision making was terrible.
Yeah.
So we had the same players, and yet they're making decisions like Premiership players. The number of patterns of play that are coming off, that is Premiership standard that they're playing. And yet, 2 months ago, we're all saying, look at this squad. They're very talented young players, but they're green and they don't know what to do with the ball.
True.
And suddenly, 2 months on, we're looking at fucking automatic promotion here. No doubt.
Well,
and that is Javi. Praise Javi and praise Pozzo for bringing Javi back. That's what I'm talking about with gratitude for Pozzo, because we all agree Pozzo was fucking our club up. No doubt he was. But if you look at a leader that fucks up constantly and then suddenly turns it around, you have to admit, mate, it was shaky, but you're a leader.
I'm going to thank you, Brett. Look, there you go. There's something contentious for everybody. Happy
New Year.
Happy New Year to you, sir. Enjoy that. I'm going to go to Brian. Now, Brian obviously takes on a number of personas, a number of names, but this has to be, and I appreciate it, let's be honest, it's the 1st of January, but this is still the best tweet I've seen in January. It says, thank you, Paul, for having sex with Mrs. Ince. That's a good comment. That's the kind of standard that we want repeated. Well done, Brian. And after talking to Brett, I would suggest he was sponsored by Captain Morgan. Let's get across to Mike Duffy. Let's go and have a chat to Mike and see if he can give us a bit more sense. There we go. Mike, how you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Pete. Sorry, I'm not quite as drunk as Brett. In fact,
nobody's quite as drunk as Brett.
But yeah. What a win! I mean, for me, for personal reasons as well, I've been sending a lot of text messages out since the full-time whistle. But do you know what? A complete performance, and I think a performance like that's been coming. To be honest, we've sort of almost been there with team selections. And you know what? I'm going to say it now, but before the game, I probably looked at that team and thought it's almost perfect if Bar was in there for Ince, but he's gone and shown me that I know the square root of fuck all. So he's gone and scored a hat-trick, and he was superb today. And
we're back to the same old thing, aren't we? End product, as well as showing and being good and being fast, sometimes being in the right place counts. So, a little bit of experience plus all of that wondrous, enthusiastic youth, perfect combination, maybe, who knows?
Yeah, and do you know what? I think Ince gets a lot of stick, and look, it's easy for me to sit here and say this now after he's just bagged the hat-trick, but do you know how a lot of people say, and you've just mentioned there about having the mix of experience and youth.
Yep.
I think the problem we have sometimes is there have been games this season where we've perhaps lacked that sort of championship nous or even experience nous in the team. Your games where you might narrowly lose and another team might rough you up, and we haven't particularly had those players. And a lot of people sort of hark back to the days of let's pick out the 14-15 promotion season as an example. We brought in Matthew Connolly, Guediora,
yep,
Ben Watson, people that know the league. Tom Ince, whether people like it or not, he knows the championship like the back of his hand.
Yep.
So I think sometimes it's almost like we want experienced players that know the league. Oh, here's Tom Ince who's played over 100 games. Not him, someone else. And it's like, I'm glad that it's sort of come into fruition for Tom, because I think he works his absolute socks off. And yes, he's not as fit as he once was, but he's older now, but he's experienced and he knows the league. So I'm absolutely delighted for him today. And I will be honest, I was a little bit worried in terms of the team news, just because, and I get you shouldn't change it if we're winning, but the amount of games that we've played in the small time we have, I did think there maybe would be a little bit more rotation. But now, look, a large part of this was due to the fact that Birmingham looked absolutely crap. We didn't look like we had to get out of second gear too much. So I wonder how many of those players we'll then see on Sunday. So,
well, yeah, I mean, because of course the only real change was in Gakia. He picked up something at Norwich, so we'll see. But I think we've got enough freshness, and we've also brought in Petri to sit on the bench. No, I agree. It's a combination of that experience. I mean, even Musa Sissoko came on, and I was so relieved by the end when he did that little one where he trod on the ball again, because I was going to have to say everything he did was really, really good, because it was. Yeah. And somebody said it on it earlier and said, "Oh my God, Musa Sissoko's just won a foot race." What's going on? Strange things. But over the 4 games now, we've got this sense of momentum. Do you feel we just have to keep our feet on the ground, the supporters, or do you feel this is something that we need to do and just kind of get behind them and be enthused with it? The question is it still the hope that kills, or could this be the genuine article?
I think it's a genuine article. I really do. I think that even though maybe the performances haven't been there, the results have. And today we got the full package. We got the result and the performance. It's just taken a tweak in the formation from Javi, and it's clicked. You look back to the season we were promoted in lockdown, under Cisco. Yeah. It was that Bristol City game. Yeah. It clicked, and we went on that run. So why can't we turn up to Hull and in their backyard on Sunday? And do you know what? I'd even take a draw. Yes, it's brilliant winning 4 in a row. But bloody hell, go and draw that one. And then who is it? Millwall. It's FA Cup then, isn't it? So
it's in the FA Cup. Then it's Millwall, Portsmouth, and then Blackburn. At the next
teams there. Portsmouth got a drubbing today. Blackburn looked very poor today against Wrexham. Millwall drew 0-0 against Southampton, and they're sort of up near the playoffs. But it's a favourable. To be honest, you're probably looking at those last 4 or 5 games and thinking, before it happened, thinking, right, bloody hell, how many points can we scrape through here? So now that we've got a favourable run in, we just have to try and not be too Watfordy, do the hard bit easy and do the easy bit hard. So yeah,
that's a good phrase. I like that. That sounds like that was pulled out from a Ravens one, wasn't it? Come on, that was a half time at Ravens. I bet it was. Well, a manager knows a manager when he's here. They've gone, oh, that's good. I'm going to use that one. No trademarks in football management, anybody. We'll have that every day of the week. Oh, well, look, did you have a good Christmas, sir?
Yeah, very good. It flew by as usual. So I was actually meant to be at the game today, but I'm glad I did check my diary, because I'm actually in work tomorrow. I didn't realise. So I've decided against going today, but as I'm only an hour from Hull now in Lincoln, I am going up on Sunday. But I'm running in Birmingham on Saturday, so I shall be proudly displaying some form of Watford shirt, shorts, whatever it may be. So yeah.
Very good. Don't forget Mike running, so that we don't have to, everybody. It's a public thing that he does. I like that very much. Speaking of which, I saw John Parslow on his way into hospitality, which I'm sure is training for his next run and all of that sort of stuff. But there we go. Okay, well, look, Mike, have a great 2026. However much you are, I mean, let's face it, you've made an absolutely colossal rubbish attempt at trying to leave Voices of the Vic, because you've been on there just as often as you have since then. But have a great year wherever and whatever you're doing, and do come on, and don't be a stranger here. But I look forward to listening to you along with Ben and all the crew.
Thanks, Pete. Take care.
All right, mate. Have a great one. There goes Mr. Mike Duffy of. I'm still going to call him Mike Duffy of Voices from the Vic, because that makes sense. Let's get across to Wendover. Then we're going to come to Gaz. Gaz, do wait for us. We'll be there. Then we're going to be going to Dave Carpenter and seeing what he thinks. Now, Greg, last time we spoke, you were in Las Vegas. Whereabouts are you located at the moment?
I'm still in Las Vegas.
Oh, everybody, do we need to just keep him in Las Vegas? I don't even want to know what the answers will be to that. How when we spoke previously, Mrs. W was down financially, but you were slightly up. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I had a bit of a turnaround now. Mrs. W had to sack me last night because I had a change of tactic because I was winning, but I was only ever getting to the break-even stage. So I upped the amount I was betting and started to lose.
Oh, dear.
And I've also hit the tables as well. So yeah.
Well, there we go. We'll be having a GoFundMe page for your latest suggestion. There we go.
Well, we're not crazy betters, mate. It's just a bit of fun.
Bit of fun. Lovely stuff. Well, speaking of bit of fun, this afternoon / this morning for you, mate, fill your boots. What do you want to say about that?
Well, today is the first time ever I've had a shower at half time. So that's
this is the information that football podcasts have never brought before, and it's what we need to know. Go on.
Yeah, look, really, really enjoyed it. As a few have said, a heavy performance. Once you go one up against a heavy team, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get hit on the break. Thought we were outstanding, Peter. Thought we were outstanding. Didn't realise watching live how quick Max Alleyne is.
Yeah.
Not just in recovery mode, bringing it out mode as well. He glides past people. He is going to be. He'll go a long way in football. Max Alleyne will.
Well, I think we will. I mean, he came out the other day talking, or rather, it came out in the Watford Observer that he'd asked Man City not to recall him, not to be in touch, not to just let him be a Watford player playing for Watford. And I looked at that and thought,
I like that.
Isn't that lovely? A lovely sort of mature, I want to develop myself and take it on the chin. And he even said, October through December, that wasn't easy, but he's like a lot of players now, isn't he? He's getting his just desserts.
Well, of course, his father knows about how to conduct himself, about being a professional sportsman.
Mm-hmm.
So, there might be a little bit in that, really. Yeah, his dad played many games for the England one-day cricket team. Good middle order batsman.
Nice.
No, this isn't a cricket podcast, is it?
Well, when have you known us not to go off on a detour down some some old rubbish, but normal? But that's fine.
One point I wanted to make, which Brett made about Loser. Loser has got an element of not responsibility taken off of him, but now he's got quality around him. He doesn't have to do so much, in my opinion. He doesn't have to dwell on the ball as long as that is the difference. He's got Czech there with him, which is a help.
Yep.
I thought that was Nesturi's best cameo for Watford. I liked him down the middle in that 10 role, and I think when you want to hit a club on a team on the break, absolutely ideal to have there.
Yeah.
And another point I wanted to make, Luca does get some stick from us. No, it hasn't from me really, because I like him.
Yep.
But I was watching on iFollow and I lost the Watford stream and I went onto the Birmingham stream.
Mm-hmm.
And they were praising Kurungard for what a good 9 he is and what a handful he is. So, it's interesting to hear, the perspective from the opposition on your players as well.
I was watching him at one point thinking not dissimilar, because we've talked about the same thing with Cipriano. When he's got the ball, one thing, and he's not perfect by any means, and we all know that. We all get that, I think, with him. But there was a time where we were getting the ball and knocking it from here to there and there to here, and kind of pushing it all over the place. And at all times, I'd only just pick this up, and others will go, "Yeah, Pete, of course, obviously," but he occupies 3 opposition players at all times. He basically has the 2 centre halves, all basic. They don't tend to do what ours do, which is like leave him and peel off, and I'll go and play it right back for a minute. They were both kind of, now it might have been different if they'd have had Clara, because he's quite experienced, and I thought he did a good job when we played up there. But they were weakened a little bit today. But they also had it was either Paik or the other one, 24, I think his number was, sitting in front, basically screening off the ball being played into him, because they didn't want the ball being played into him at all. So, if you can be occupying effectively for large periods of the game when we've got the ball, 3 players, it means other people have got space and have got time and have got, a lack of opposition, and it allows you to create, dare I say, overloads in other areas. I know you don't like that word, so I put it in, but there you go.
Well, it's another thing the Birmingham stream said. It says, how can you man mark a Watford team? Which one do you go for? Do you go for loser? Do you go for Czechoslovakia? Do you go for Mama? That they've got Bar and Vata not even playing. So, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
This is.
You're just pleased,
Peter,
aren't you?
I'm Mr. Optimistic, but I've seen signs of this for. I don't want to say.
No. You don't have to, because you have been the one who said, I think it's coming to go. I don't think we're a long way off. And those words have been turned by some people and used against you on occasions. And at the moment, you could have a crow. However, as I said, but as I said the other day, this is a roller coaster. It's going to go up as well as down. There are going to be times when we will, under Javi, we will lose 3 games in a row.
Of course we will.
It's going to happen. I mean, well, exactly. Let's hope it's let's hope it's at the top end. But it just means that the game fluctuates. But whether or not you're a positive or a half glass full individual, it is just down to you individually. It's how you communicate and how you get across. I hope you and I hope those people are also just enjoying this as much as we are.
Of course.
Everybody's looking at certain people that have made calls on it. I mean, there were times when I went, "Oh crikey, Ince." We had a conversation at the start of the season about, well, would you take Ashley Young? And the answer was no. I said, what if you replaced him? If you replaced Tom Ince? Yeah, we'd take him straight away. Well, at the moment, we're seeing Tom Ince do exactly what you want experienced players to do. He seems to be.
Pleased for him, Peter.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a good professional. He's a good professional. You hear this. You hear that he's good to be around the place. So they've got a big decision to make with him, haven't they? Because he can negotiate with other clubs now, can't he? Because he's in the last year of his deal.
He can. I mean, I would imagine
they might leave it to the end of the season.
No. I think he's now getting the game time, and I think the idea will be you're going to be losing Sissoko. Sissoko is going to retire. So whether or not he's still around in some capacity, God alone knows, right? I'll keep my powder dry as to which one whether I do or I don't want that. But he is absolutely that experienced head, and he's a perfect age and the perfect time to start thinking about how you have somebody in and around who also has an eye to the coaching, kind of the next stage as well, whilst being and training and doing it. And that, they talked to Troy at one point, we know, because he revealed to us, our surprise at the point, to do that. You saw that happen with the likes of Malky Mackay. That it's happened time and time again. And it would be great to have somebody who is who is still able to provide something, if we're in the Prem, if we're in the Championship, on the playing side, but who can also impart the knowledge, but also pick up coaching knowledge and development as he moves into the next kind of phase of his longer football career. That would be a really useful thing, I think.
I think I read somewhere, and I might have dreamt it, but that Sissoko fancies when he retires a more administrative type role, a Barami type of role. So, but who knows? But that isn't type of available at Watford Football Club at the moment. Well, but who knows?
Well, no, we've got one of those Baramis, so that's the important thing.
Yeah, look, and agreeing with Rich, a couple of additions, and my word, you know, to have additions, you'll have to have fringe players move out. Though I thought Little Mendy has done fine coming on the last 2 games.
I hope that Mendy
in and about everywhere, retains the ball when you need retention. I think he's done nothing wrong, but I think maybe the left back that never plays will have to go back, won't he? Because poor old Mark Bowler is, you know, he needs somebody to use up some minutes for him. So the lad back, Wiley back to Chelsea, a left back in. I think a midfielder in would be nice, you know.
Well,
and
if Duomo is going as the grapevine would suggest that he is, obviously
he put out a statement yesterday as well, Pete.
Yeah, and I didn't think people should read too much into that. I mean, it seemed to be fairly sort of, look, I've had a bad 2025. I'm not, you know, I'm not having a bad kind of mental health time with it. I'm just looking at it and I'm grateful and I want to move forward wherever that is. That might suggest that things are up in the air. It might not be, but he doesn't seem to be getting game time. But then again, if you step back literally 3 games, we were saying that about Nampalys Mendy. Do you think that Mendy, especially on the game against Norwich and the game today, those cameos of coming on when he's now coming on with 20-25 minutes, and there wasn't a whole lot of, oh my God, you're taking Imran Loser off today and bringing him on. Is suddenly, if you can spare Imran a few minutes, so that make sure that he's not picking up late, you know, like late knocks when he's going into what they always call the red zone or like that. It feels like he's a useful squad member who should be used more now, surely.
I agree. These cameos have reminded me, and forgive me, I forgot his name.
Okay.
The Cisco promotion season, when we had the ex-West Ham player with the hair, Sanchez,
yeah, ex-West Ham and
Aston Villa. Came on at the end of the game when we were winning to retain the ball. These Mendy cameos have reminded me of those cameos, if you get my drift.
Nice. Well, he is signed. He's not a lone player. We can go through all of that in good time. But lovely stuff. Well, look, sir, enjoy the rest of your time over.
Yeah, we will do.
Over
Happy
there.
New Year to you, Peter. Happy New Year to Justin, Peter, and the whole of the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes tribe.
The other one being Carlos.
Whatever.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Love to Mrs.
Right,
W.
mate.
Go and have a good evening.
Mate.
Go and have a good evening. There he is. Look, there he goes. Look. He said the other day, you do get to see something different when you're watching it on telly to when you're in the ground, and part of this has always been, especially with the away games, is to try to get the conversation from both sides. Great having Greg having seen it with the with the TV rather than the other side, especially with listening to the Birmingham people. So that's good. Let's get to Gaz. Gaz, sir, if you want to hit there you go. You're there. Gaz, how are you doing?
Hi, Pete. Yeah, not too bad. You?
I'm very good. It's Northwest Dawn, everybody. This is good stuff. I'm
making my debut.
Mate. We are so pleased. We are so pleased when anybody who hasn't necessarily phoned in before gets in. It's all great because it's all the start of something new and exciting. Speaking of,
I don't normally get to listen live, so I thought I'd take the opportunity whilst I was to do it. So I usually listen on the podcast or review it back on YouTube later on, but
lovely.
Hey, there you go.
Well,
I thought it was my birthday, so I'll come on.
Oh my God, a birthday on the 1st of January.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Wow. So so when you're sitting there going, come on, family, get up and give me all my presents, they're all hungover most of the time, aren't
they? Well, yeah, we've got past that now. I don't celebrate New Year's Eve. I just wait till today, and so I've been sat on the sofa, a few beers, watching the football.
Toast everybody. If you've got a drink, let's all toast to Gaz. Happy birthday, Gaz. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful stuff. So come on then. You've got your birthday 3 points. It's been a good 4 games, which is obviously getting us everybody going, but it's been growing slowly over a longer period of time. How are you looking at everything?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's sort of starting to build, isn't it? There's something going on. I think the team is showing that actually they want to do this, and the players, they're getting behind the manager, and I think that's the first time for a while that we've seen that sort of thing. So there's definitely a feeling that something could be boiling here. And it's the first time we said that for a long time, I think. Definitely.
I agree. It is a dressing room that is actually they're all rowing in the same direction. And that has not always been the case, most certainly. And I don't think this is betraying anything, that a couple of people have been mentioned as kind of like, galvanizing the group together in addition, which is basically, it won't come as a surprise to anybody. Matty Pollock and Imran Loser. Imran Loser got taken off today, and I don't know if you managed to get to see it, but when he came off, for about the first 10 minutes afterwards, he was literally sat down still in his kit next to the manager, basically sitting there, because he was literally kicking every ball and almost doing that sort of well, not quite the Ronaldo during the Euros for Portugal, but he was so involved with it even so. So, no, it's definitely feeling like it's punching in the right direction, and everybody is singing from the same hymn sheet, most certainly.
Certainly is, but I do have one downer on today, though.
Go on then, give us your downer, other than the fact you've got a year older.
Oh yeah, a year older, and we deserved to give a team a twatting, and 3-0 wasn't a twatting, and Birmingham were there. That should have been a 5-6-0, and that's my only downer on it. we should have won that far easier than we did at the end, which is terrible, isn't it? Because Tom Ince scored a hat-trick. Bless him. All these years, been watching him score against us.
Yep.
And he's finally putting it in for us. So fair play. Fair play to Tom.
I like that very much. We deserve to give a team a twatting. I like
We do. Remember that Blackpool game when suddenly, out of nowhere, we just turned it on and we absolutely twatted them, for want of a better word. I do apologise for using the word twatted. I've been on the beer this afternoon.
No, you are.
Fair enough.
You are. If there is a right place to use the word twat, it's definitely on here. Most of the time, it's the description of the hosts, but that doesn't mind.
I've not been on the rum like Brett, so I'm not that far gone.
Yes. Brett does bring us to additional dimensions, which I think is good. And we put him in charge of one of the teams on the prediction league. Go figure. What did we think was going to happen? Oh well, look at this. I love that. I love this very much indeed. So, being as you are northwest bound, are you managing to get to many away games, or more away games than home games?
Yeah, I haven't been to a home game for probably 15, 16 years now, unfortunately.
Okay.
Family reasons mean I can't travel that far.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to get to as many up here as I can. So a quick question, though, and maybe someone else can answer, is the Blackburn game, because I know Blackburn are boycotting the game. Where do we stand on that? Well, that's one of the few games I get to. The Blackburn, Preston. There's the only games this season. I get to Burnley, Blackpool, Wigan, Bolton when we're around. But I only get to 2 games this season, the Blackburn. So are we boycotting the game, or are we still going? Do you know? Any idea?
I think everybody's still going. We will be talking to our friend Ian Herbert of 4,000 Holes, who is the Blackburn podcaster. One, find out a little bit about it, etc. But no, I mean, I think what they seem to have done is adopt a very, very similar position on things to that Sheffield Wednesday did, most successfully. Obviously, I mean, it takes a long time to get somebody like Chansiri out of your club, and the Blackburn guys are doing very similar, which is boycotting games, boycotting buying, and making purchases, etc. But really showing kind of support. And it'll be interesting when we talk to him, because there's an opportunity for the solidarity between fans of different clubs, because don't forget how much solidarity was shown at Sheffield Wednesday by various teams. Whenever anything goes down that's more tragic, shall we say, around teams, what kind of football shows its true face. So I think it'll be a question of us turning up and doing our best to go and take the 3 points and go and make it feel like a home game, and that'll probably be the most important thing. But we'll be speaking to Ian and finding out about it. But that's for them to go and do. And I think there's various things that we might be able to do to show solidarity, whilst showing solidarity with the team, because for the first time in certainly a few seasons, let's say, we seem to have a team that's worthy of the support.
Definitely, absolutely, definitely. I mean, I remember that. Was it 2 years ago when we beat Preston and Blackburn?
Yes,
those 2 away games in successive weekends, and that was.
Did you manage to get to both of those?
Got to both of those. I go to all the ones I can up here. So
Brilliant.
Apart from the odd occasion when health dictates, can't. That's
fair enough. Well, that would have been what, the 5-1 at Preston.
Yeah,
and
and then
was
the 2-1 at was it 2-1 late, two late goals?
That was it. That was it. It was Rajovic got one, and
Reece Healy.
Reece Healy, that's it.
Yes.
I got the name Healy, but I couldn't remember what his first name was. So yeah, he came in. That showing Reece Healy. He was here, blinked, and then he was off again, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So there we go. There we go. Oh well, look at this. Look at this. Gaz, fantastic call. I love this. Segues us towards Blackburn. Comes in, talks about this. Oh, excellent stuff. Excellent. And also comments on how drunk Brett is, which is, let's face it, we're all going to note that.
Yeah. I should be getting there later because it's my birthday. Anyway, I shall leave you there.
Gaz, happy birthday. Go and have a great birthday with the family. And, you've already got the most important thing, which is, of course, 3 points. So
excellent.
Happy birthday, sir. Lovely stuff. There goes Gaz. There goes Gaz. Wonderful stuff. He's now in charge of all things in the Northwest, other than the Northwest Cheese Express, which obviously have their own personal remits. Now, we do need to get to Harry, because the last time we spoke to Harry, he was sat in a hotel room giving us updates on a warm-down game for Norwich, who still hadn't scored by all accounts. He's going to be very, very, very smug here, because he's been in the UK, and every time he sees it, but you are responsible for this 4-game win, are you not?
Well, I'm not going to take full responsibility for the 4-game streak, but what an amazing! This is probably the best trip to England I've ever had. Before I start, how are you?
Oh, mate, we've just won 3-0. It's the 1st of January. I'm not particularly hungover. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, look, Kelly. Hello, Kelly. Nice to see you there. Wrexham fans stopping by to congratulate Watford supporters on their stunning win. We went on and talked with Wrexham, and because we didn't have Carl with us, we were very nice. And lots of Wrexham people kind of don't think we're as awful as they normally do if Carl's here. So hello, Kelly. Thank you very much for that. But you've come the other way. You've come from America to here, and you are basically just instigating all of these games and wins. I love it.
Yeah, so it was fantastic today. So my whole family came today. So my 3 little siblings and my mum, as well as my dad and I, came today. And I think it gave us triple the luck. And that's why Tom Ince scored his hat trick. After the game as well, we got to give out the Junior Hornets Man of the Match, which was really, really cool.
I wonder where that went.
So it was actually really funny. Before the game, we were discussing, who would we want to have a signature? And so we're going. So
you were going to fix it. You were going to fix it. So you got.
We were going to fix it. And we're it's in between Othman Mama or like Imran Loser or in that category. And then Tom Ince out of nowhere goes and scores a hat trick. And so we're like, okay. At halftime, so Phil, who's the absolute legend,
Phil Williams,
came up. He came up to us and like, who are you going to give it to? And at that point, Mama got an assist, so we thought, we maybe could get away with it. And so we tell Phil, right now we're giving it to Mama, even though Ince has already scored 2. Then Ince goes and scores a hat trick after 10 minutes later. Phil comes running back to us and like, you want to change it? We're like, yeah, we have to change it. So after the game, we saw the great Anne Swanson, who helped when my dad was younger. There was a ball boy.
Yep.
He worked with her as well, and she said that she's going to start a GoFundMe so all 6 of us can stay in England.
Yes, absolutely. This is the way to do it. And if Anne says it, I'll be honest with you, Harry, and you can turn and check this with your dad in a little bit. But Justin is proof positive that men of a certain age. Basically, if they have nightmares, it's normally about Anne Swanson coming to tell them off. So if
told off a lot.
Yeah.
Also, my dad just said he's got told off a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you and Justin, mate, absolutely, both of you. So if she's going to do that, it may as well be legislation and in law that you now have to move back.
Yeah, and I know I'm upset, but I have to get back in the swing of things. And then after the game, so we saw Tom Ince. And then we see Valon Barami and Gianluca Nunni doing laps around the pitch, talking. Ooh. And so I got a picture of Valon Barami, and I only can wonder what they're talking about, and trying to find Mogi Bayat's phone number.
I tell you what, there's 3 6s in that number. I'll bet you that much. That's all.
Yeah,
that's
I bet he's probably. But one of Gianluca's AirPods was probably Mogi phoning him from France or somewhere. So, but
Mogi being in his inner ear is probably a very familiar feeling for that man. I shouldn't
Yeah.
wonder. But never mind. So yeah, is this now? Is that the last game? Are you now kind of girding your loins to fly back across the Atlantic?
yeah, so our flight's on Sunday at 11, and so we're not gonna be in the country for when Hull kicks off, but we will be on the plane, and technically that is still part of England. It would be on British Airways, which is an English plane, and so we still will be in England for the whole game.
Technically,
but
you're
and
present.
so yeah. It was a great trip, and then after the game, we waited outside the Rookery, and we got a few more of the players' signatures as well.
Oh, who did you see?
So we saw Musa Sissoko, who I thought put in a great shift today.
He did. I've got hands up.
That was his best game in a Watford shirt by far. And then we saw Napalis Mendy, James Morris, Matty Pollock, Vivaldo Semedo, who we got a picture with. And then Luca Kierengard, who was a really, really nice. Kierengard is such a nice bloke. He was such a nice bloke.
Look at this. This is very
yeah.
good stuff.
And this really annoyed me. The funniest part of it is, so Dad was walking back to the bus stop. We're actually right now with my sister and my mum. My sister's little, and so the person who comes walking past my dad, of all people in the world, is Othman Mama.
Of course he would.
So
what else is going to happen? Go on.
No, so he's walking past. He sees my dad goes, Joey, which my mum, that's Othman Mama. And so Dad got a picture of him, but he didn't have a pen, so he didn't get the one person who from the start we couldn't get his signature from. Dad got a picture of him, but it was still very cool. So it's been an amazing trip. And we're right now fourth in the table, 3 points off the automatics, and let's see if we can push all the way.
So the question is, and we know Dad's earwigging, so we're going to put this in.
Yeah.
Is there any risk that if we got into the playoffs, would there be an opportunity for a quick return in the playoffs?
There would be an opportunity, but we're going to have to do some negotiations with my mum.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, we're also coming back in February for 2 days.
What?
For 2 days, right? Because we got a family occasion, and so we're coming on the Friday. It's Friday the 27th of February, and we leave on the Sunday, March 1st, right? On the 27th, on that Friday, Bristol City away at 8 o'clock. So
well done.
We're right now. The family affairs on Saturday, the whole day Saturday, and so we're attempting.
This is very
negotiations
good.
As well.
If I may, because most people, when you're negotiating, and the wife will say, "Well, nobody else would do this sort of thing." If I may, my grandparents, who are no longer with us now. But they had an anniversary, their 60th wedding anniversary. And in the morning, they went there. There was a thing at their church, and I was there. And then there was things in the evening. I left where they are, which is Tottenham, just outside of Dunstable, drove back, caught the game, which was Watford 0, Sheffield United 0, and then drove back. Yeah, absolutely. I split the difference. I did that, So look, if they want to say, "Oh, that's unreasonable," you have my permission to go, "That's not unreasonable. This is what would be unreasonable."
Thank you. I'll let my mum know that.
Excellent.
We've been persuaded to go to the game now. We have no choice.
I think that's the way to do it. And also, just say, look, and if you were really good mum, you'd have had a pen, and I'd have had Othman Mama's autograph. Just lay it on thick. That's what you need to do.
I think that would be a push. But
yeah. That's fine. There you go. Harry, family, everybody, have a great flight back. Well done. Job done. They've come here. They've basically caused 12 points, lifted us into fourth place. Not entirely down to them, but the vast majority, I think. Now let's get to Caden, because on the 29th, I can't even remember what day that is. I don't know what day today is, to be quite frank. Caden came on and we were talking about after, and you weren't keen, were you, Caden, on the performance at Norwich of a certain Tom Ince? Do you think today he's listened to your words and you've basically inspired him into today's performance? What do you think, Caden?
Well, good evening, Peter. Hope you're well. Now, look, I am very happy to have been proven wrong. Now, I I said after the Norwich game, I said he looked tired.
Yeah.
Don't play him next game. And he shut me right up. He scores again.
I think you've inspired him. I think you have inspired him to this performance.
Wouldn't go that far.
Well, that and Harry and family as well. Obviously, they take a bit of it, but you get an assist as well.
I think he is the most obvious man of the match to ever be given.
Pretty much.
However,
yep,
there were other brilliant performances that I want to highlight.
Go on then.
And the first one was James Abankwah. He was brilliant. Didn't look out of place at all at right back once again.
Nice.
And is proving to be a perfect backup to Jeremy Ngakia. Where was he today? Is he injured or what?
When he went off,
was on the bench.
Yeah, when he went off at Norwich, he got a bit of a knock. So I think that's just a
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much of it's precautionary, whether we might see him at Hull or what have you. But I think you're right. I think in terms of somebody who's coming in and deputising, and I Petris, let's be honest, there's no way we can possibly keep him now, I'm sure, because if you're not going to use him in the two games, one was at Wrexham and one was obviously today, then it feels like he was just brought in as a contingent to cover. And as you say, James Bank was doing fine work in that. But I imagine that Petri is going to be on the way out. But lovely stuff. A Banquet, good performance. Who else were you zoning in on?
Cipriano. Again, fantastic. And it's proven today that we don't always have to have a midfield with Imran Loser in it, because Cipriano and Mendy see it out. So it's good to know that we can actually play without Loser to an extent, just in case, God forbid, someone comes in and buys him. Obviously, at the moment, the transfer window's just opened,
yep,
and there are many Premier League clubs interested in Loser. So there's going to be a lot of competition for him. But the way I see it is, the more competition that is there, the higher the price. And we have to play it like that. The more clubs that want him, hike the price up more and more and more, because you may be able to get a lot more money than what your original valuement is.
I think you'd have to look at it, and I know I'll do the quick mathematical kind of calculation that everybody does whenever they were in the old kind of Watford Observer kind of forums on articles, which is immediately turn around and go, well, you might get 40 million for him, but you get 170 million or 180 million if we go up, and all of that. Like, that's the calculation. I agree with you. They're going to have to look at it. Somebody's going to have to come in with some real money, but bearing in mind where we are at the moment and how instrumental he is to us. Because whilst I agree with you wholeheartedly, I thought Nampalys Mendy came in and did a lovely job, and you used the great phrase there of closing it out. It's a different thing closing it out and being able to kind of push us forward and push us on, and all of the things that Mendy does. I mean, we were on a thing the other day, and Justin described him as, he's the quarterback of the team, and he absolutely is. He's also the running back of the team. He is the absolute center of everything. So, he's hugely important. We definitely don't want to lose him. But there we go. Anybody else who picked your eye, or took your eye, I should say? Picked your eye. That sounds wrong. Carry on.
Tomato outperformed at LK9 drastically.
Right.
I thought LK9 was poor again.
May I interrupt you? Because I'm going to ask you to answer a question that Ben B6N3L, it's a surname, it's a family name that they carry. He puts, if permitted to raise a negative today, Kieramgard was pretty disappointing. Does Semedo start versus Hull? Now, you seem to be looking at it in a sort of a not dissimilar way to Kieramgard's performance, although I think he does a lot that's kind of not showy necessarily. He does a lot, and I think he's got the opportunity there. Doesn't mean he wouldn't necessarily go, Semedo's done all right, maybe start him. Where would you fall on that as a question from Ben? Would you start Semedo versus Hull?
Yeah, I think it's a given. I thought
given. Wow.
When Semedo came on, he was really good. fearless, constantly going for it. And as much as I've criticised him before for being lazy and whatever, none of that today. He was on every ball and he was there and he kept going and going and going and outperformed LK9 massively. I thought that we should have brought Semedo on at half time, but game management and everything, I think it probably worked doing it a little bit later on. And then again, Sissoko put a good shift in.
He did. Credit where credit's due.
Probably his best performance of the season. But I want to raise something. Now, there's a certain player who has gone to the AFCON, and drastically, we've won 4 on the spin since he's been out.
Right.
Edo Kayembe. What? This is the common denominator. We play better without Kayembe anywhere near the team. So it's glaringly obvious what we should do with him this transfer window. Get him gone, get some money, and get him gone, because he deserves to go. And there's one player who doesn't deserve to go this window, and this is probably the final time I'm going to get to mention his name, to do with Watford, Pierre Duomo. He should not be leaving, but unfortunately, it is the end of the road for him. I just hope that we get a nice fee for him, because he is such a good player. He's tidy on the ball. He does all the good stuff, but just missed talent with Watford. And I hope that Gianluca Nani's conversation on the pitch with Barami today is that, let's sell Kayembe. Let's actually act this transfer window. Let's go and get Lovric. Let's go and get Miller. Let's go and get all these players, because we need them. There is 2 wingers that I would personally look at.
Yeah.
But one of them is quite unrealistic. I don't think we'd get him. The realistic one is a left winger, Portuguese, 21, from Arsenal, called Segure Jr. He is a bundle of fun to watch.
Okay.
Really slow on the ball, really quick, got brilliant passing, nice cross on him. He'd do well. And the other one is
how old is he and what level is he playing at Arsenal?
I believe he's in the under 21s. He's 21. And I think he'd be a good fit for us.
And has he played any senior adult football as yet, or would that be his first loan move?
It would be his first loan move.
Okay, interesting. Okay, exciting. Yeah.
And the other one is the unrealistic one. He plays for Ajax, Mika Guts. Now, you're probably thinking, who the hell is that? Well, he is a quick 22-year-old winger who on his day is an absolute world beater. And if we sell Loser, or we sell any of our big players, go and get Mika Guts. Go and get him, because he would be brilliant and he would rip this championship to shreds, and he would be a massive part in getting us promoted. So I would definitely look at those 2 players.
The Ajax player, and I've done lots of study work on Ajax, and I met with Van Gaal and various things. It's an amazing club with an amazing pedigree and development path. It's genuinely, I can anorak out on that forever. This Mika Guts, you meant what position is he?
Left winger.
But sorry, because you said about if we sold Loser, I thought you were kind of going to step into the middle. Okay, interesting. Well, we'll see.
No, the only reason why I say we're going to have to sell a big player to get him is because he's in and out of the first team with Ajax. That's why I'm saying if we sell a big player, go for him, especially if we're going to sell Chak, for example, because we can get a good fee for Chak. Go and get Guts, and we would be brilliant, and we would have, because he's versatile, so he can play left wing, right wing, and in the 10. So you've got versatility in those two areas.
I think if you look at the stable,
really
if you look at the stable, we've got about 6 players who can play in those particular positions at the moment. So it's probably a little bit top heavy, but there we go. Some names to look out for from Caden. Thank you, Caden, very much indeed. Let's get. We were talking to Harry, who's in America but over here. Now we're going to go and talk to Adam, who's from here but he's over there. Adam, sir, how you doing? Happy New Year and all of that.
Happy New Year to you. Still coughing.
Oh well, yes. What you need to do,
shake the damn thing.
What you need to do is take 3 points regularly, and we seem to be doing that at the moment. So that's kind of nice. I like that. Mate, what did you make of that? We seem to be improving, and we're desperately trying not to get carried away, but not doing a very good job of it.
Oh, I know. Tom Ince hat trick. Wow, did not see that one coming. But
take it where we get it. That's what I say.
What an interesting game, though. I mean, the way we approached it, I don't think I've seen us play like that this season before. This season, anyway. You know, we're playing like classic counter-attacking football. We let Birmingham have a lot of possession, and I think they had about 56% overall without doing fuck all.
Was that because we got the first goal? They have to come at us, and it just presents you with the opportunities to then counterattack. Whereas so many times this season, we know how many times, countless, we've conceded the first goal, and then we've had to go chasing the game. And even on kind of on other occasions, once we're in charge and once we're in front of the game, like we were at Leicester, we still carved out two really good chances. And if Loser had played in Czech, we could have been coming away with that with an even greater win. Do you think it's because if we get the first goal, that allows us, because we look comfortable playing with that, and suddenly you're using the speed of Iran Kunda, who looked like the world of the weight of the world taking off of him.
The guy's legs just move faster than I don't know what to say. You watch him running, he just eats up the ground and goes past there's no one catching him ever. I don't think
it looked today. It looked today like, and we used this phrase when he went out to Australia, and some people said, oh well, look, he's doing this with the graduate, which was what the doctor ordered, was go and find a smile on your face. And today he played like he got a smile on his face, like he did at the start of the season. Coming off the bench, fine, you're gonna have to wait your turn, but when he came on, holy heck, did he make an impact, and was just ripping them, and he was using the ball that bit better as well. So Iran Kunda, great day. Hope the lads, as I say, got a smile and can keep being so productive, because he can be a real force for good. Anybody else stand out for you?
Obviously Ince, but thought Mama was quiet. He had a couple of good runs. He did set up one of the goals, I think.
Yeah, the first one went via him. And he put it across an opportunity with his right, and then it fell back to him, and he buried it with his left. So Ince was feeding off of.
Chak looked good and burst. Did he go off? Do you think? Just give him a rest since he's come back and played a few games.
I think it's just the weight of the games, and we had we gone 3-0. I think we'd gone 3-0. I could be wrong. It could be it could have been done at 2. And I think it's with an eye to we're in charge here. I think we feel good. Let's have a thought.
Yeah, it
with
wasn't
regard
an
to
injury.
Sunday.
It was definitely tactical.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and it was genius bringing him on, because, as I say, suddenly they're having to try to come at us, and even then when they did, and they had a couple of chances. They had a header at the far post by Patrick Roberts, who didn't manage to make anything of it. A player I really like, and they brought on Kumas on the left for Anderson when he went down. They tried a few bits, but the moment we would go breaking on them, the Vic would just go up as we kind of moved in that whole sort of do not scratch your eyes versus Leicester sort of wave of noise travels as we're buried in.
They seriously missed Jay Stansfield. I think.
Yeah,
really,
there was a number of players missing for Birmingham, and I appreciate. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but actually, especially with as we said earlier on with Czak earlier on, the medical department have had a few brickbats thrown at them this season, because it took Czak an awful long time to come back. And if you may not know, but Wendover came out on the first game of the season and said, we're talking to somebody, and he might be out for months. He didn't come back till November. He's finally back. Brilliant. However, feather in the cap for the medical team here, because okay, we've had Vata and we've had Bar, but those have been muscle strains and muscle injuries, etc. The majority of the squad are there.
Is intact.
Look at what Birmingham have got, because Damari Gray out of it. They've had another lad who's out as well. I can't remember his name, but absolutely, and Stansfield as well. Keeping this squad fit, and maybe the rotational side of it, when we know that Javi likes to keep his team consistent, and from the consistency we've become a consistently performing team suddenly. Sometimes you need to be able to go, right, no, we're going to take you off with 20 minutes to go, loser, and spare you for Saturday or for Sunday, sorry. And the same thing maybe with Jack. It feels like the in-game management is improving in game, but also from game to game to game. Is that a reasonable thing, do you think?
I think so. I think there's definitely something's clicked. Like, I don't know whether a light switch went on and, Javi's suddenly got these players' heads turning. So they're basically, they just seem, I noticed how quickly we fell back into shape as well. Every time, we turned over possession, Birmingham weren't that quick, and Watford just fell back into their shape and looked so solid at the back that I really didn't think they were going to score today, which is not usual for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it's been
most Watford fans probably.
Well, it's been a slow turnaround, and some people have been, still anti-Javi, and there were times when both Petzolano and Javi's side-by-side comparisons were the same as one another, and it was like, well, it hasn't made any difference. It's taken a little while, but it feels like at the happier changing room and the happier training ground and getting more kind of brought together is working. It's not tactically necessarily, we're not looking at revolution a la Pep Guardiola, but it's solid, it's building, and it's building slowly. And I think most of us are getting, hold on, this feels pretty exciting.
I mean, we're 3 points off automatic promotion.
Yeah. Well, there was a time in the game today when I was watching who was going down the right hand side. It might have been Mama, it might have been any number of players, and I did stop and think, this feels, and this is high praise for me because we're accused on occasions of being a cult for Graham Taylor, but those Graham Taylor games where it's under floodlights as the game gets late, even in winter games, and we are 3-0 up and we are pushing to try to get something out of the game yet further, and you've got players like Bolla kind of going off and involving themselves, a real front-footed effort, even when I still said, and still with a threat on the counter as well. Oh, happy day. I loved every minute of it, I've got to say.
So before I leave,
yep,
I just want to talk about players coming in potentially.
Okay.
And going out. I've heard like 4 Premier League clubs are looking at loser, including Everton.
Yeah.
Why? They seem to want all of our players and managers, and
yes, if there's
same sponsors and God knows what, there's something going on there.
If there's something going, that they'll have it, providing we're selling it normally. Yeah, that's true.
What I read on the Watford Way was something about Lorenzo Luca, and I don't know how much there's truth in that, but that would be some signing, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be good to have Lorenzo Luca Kiramgard. I mean, it's an answer smash on Game of Thrones, if nothing else. It's well, he was one of those players that and of course we are invariably linked, as we have been this season, with Udinese options, and of course this is one of the things that I suppose Gino Pozzo has to look at, is players within his organisation. Now, I think Luca is still an Udinese player, but I think he's on loan at Roma.
He's on loan to Napoli. Yeah,
Napoli. Thank you. Yeah. So they will look and go with that asset. Where do we place it for the most good for the wider organisation? I appreciate this is very business terminology for a football team, but basically, if we've got a good player and we put him there and he brings us up, how much is everybody happy? It does make it potentially viable. In the past, we've looked at it and gone, "There's no way we're going to get him. There's no way they would let him go," because he was valued at genuine value, not a Rouge kind of evaluation. of 10 to 15 million. I mean, he's got quality.
He's got international caps, hasn't he? For
Yeah.
Italy?
No, he's a solid, reliable player who can certainly play with his back to goal. There's always the jump of jumping from one type of football, and Italian football is very distinctly different into another, and how quickly that acclimatizes. But he would certainly be somebody who could potentially come in and be showing those younger prospects that we've got what to do. But the question is two of those currently in Semedo and in Kiramgan are both loan players, and there's only so many loans you can have from one club. I think it's 4, could be wrong, but there's only so many loans you can have overall, which is 5. So you'd be looking at Wiley, presumably you'd be looking at Mendy,
Chelsea, maybe.
Yeah, because if they're not being utilised,
what's the point?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's not doing their career any good either.
Correct.
To sit and wait, for it. So, is it a possibility? Not sure, but it'd be exciting. Who else did you see mentioned? Anybody else?
You see? Well, do you think a bid will come in for Loser? I don't think Mama will go. Not at this stage, anyway. He'll go at the end of the season, possibly. But if someone comes in for Loser, do they sell him, given where we are in the league, or do they say you can have him at the end of the season? I don't know.
I was, last January we were made aware that bids came in for both Chakvetadze and for Loser, and they didn't let him go because they still felt that we're going to be in a place to maybe go. If they didn't do it last season, bearing in mind where we are now, exactly.
Right.
And knowing, and of course, last January, Loser had only just stepped back into the team in November. I mean, he'd been good, but he hadn't been good for the full year. He hadn't taken on this, captain in not just the armband, but in trying to drag everything emotionally and intelligently with the rest of the thing. He seems to be one of the two who are at the center of, let's not say wholly responsible, of a combined and a better atmosphere since Pezzolano has gone. That most certainly. I mean, that was the main start, and it's taken a while to grow out of this and to kind of move it in the right direction. So, can an offer come in? Yeah, of course it can, because there'll be teams in the lower reaches of the Premier League who will be panicking, and injuries or strains or the AFCON or what it always seems to be. Oh, somebody's had an injury, we're going to go and buy them. That's the mentality in the Premier League. Would he get to play as much as he does now? Would he get to be as important as he is now? Does he want
Possibly
to?
Not.
My understanding is that I don't think he's not pushing for a move. He would love to be able to get a wild card and get to the World Cup with Morocco, and that in the summer. I think you've got to look at it and go realistically. He'd probably get a move and probably deserve it for staying and doing it.
If we go up,
who knows?
Then he may well stay, and he still may get in the Moroccan squad. So.
If we go up, then all bets on everything are off anyway, aren't they? Because he is a player that should be playing, for me, in a top flight league. He's looking at that, and he's done his best for Watford, and I think nobody would begrudge him a move to anywhere, in terms of doing it. But I talked the other day, and I described him as basically kind of he's like a pirate. He's got the hair for Jack Sparrow, and he's flying through the rig. He's just a buccaneering player, and it's been a pleasure to watch him this season, let alone this afternoon. Fantastic stuff. Adam, sir, lovely to speak to you as ever. Have a great rest of the new year, and we will catch you soon. Let's get to Neil, Mr. Nelly O'Connor. Nelly, are you there, sir?
Hello, Pete. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound like you're at the bottom of a well, but that's okay. It's not too bad. Were you at the game, or were you sitting in Gatwick?
No, I was at the game, freezing myself to death. But,
yep.
Best festive season I can remember since I moved back down from Yorkshire.
Well, it's hard to disagree. I mean, everything's gone pretty damn well over the festive period.
Yeah. Did I ever mention that Tom Ince's dad is quite a nice bloke? Did I tell you that?
I think you may have mentioned that once or twice. I have no problem with Ince Junior. I've got no real problem with Ince Senior, to be honest with you, but it's good fun nonetheless. I just don't like somebody who writes the governor on his boot and insists that he gets called that. But I tell you what, I'm up there with Brian Edwards, who said, "Thank you, Mr. Ince, for having sex with Mrs. Ince and having Tom Ince today. Here's to the Ince family, everybody."
Yeah, great fun. I think the Watford medical staff, you were talking about them a short while ago, they've done wonders. They've done wonders, haven't they? Because they've obviously, according to Uncle Ron 2 years ago, Tom Ince's legs have gone. So they've obviously grafted 2 new legs on Tom. That was great.
It's a shame they couldn't have made one a right foot, but no, I'm taking the piss. I'm sorry. Everybody's got a preferred foot, but yeah, no,
Right.
it's great.
Right. No, it was a great day. First things first, Happy New Year to all of you, all of your team that do such a great job, and everybody that listens, all the Watford supporters that listen. Happy New Year to you. And what I will do, the young lad that's going back to America.
Yep, Harry.
Can I actually give you the legal jargon about what it is?
Oh, go on then.
Once the aircraft doors are closed,
yes,
and it can move under its own propulsion,
yeah,
it maintains UK sovereignty.
Ooh. Until what point? At what point does it turn into US?
When the door is opened at the destination and the captain acknowledges that it is now US sovereignty. Okay, so if there was an issue when it landed at the US to maintain UK sovereignty, all the captain would have to do is keep the doors closed. So once the doors open, it then becomes sovereignty of the state. Once all the passengers have been disembarked as well.
Well, this is good news. This is good news. Now they're departing, I think, somewhere around, I think, kind of, somewhere between 10 and 12 o'clock, which means that for the duration of the game, they will not have landed. So Harry and family, well done. You're getting a 5th game. It's technical, but what the hell?
Yeah, just think of it exactly the same as, because most of the aviation laws came from the nautical side. Just think of it as a ship. Once the ship sails, the captain's in charge, and everything within it remains UK sovereignty until everybody's disembarked at the end of the cruise. So it's exactly the same laws.
Nicely done.
Just smarten up. So does that qualify it? Yeah,
it does. I mean, I think we may be going too far. Even I think we're possibly going too far here. But well done, nicely done. Now we've sorted out Harry. We've basically organised a win at Hull by sorting out the jurisdiction in law of exactly where Harry and Harry's family will be, even though they'll be in America before the door is opened. But then it becomes America. Apparently, who knew? I didn't. What did you think about the game?
Oh, I thought it was great. I mean, I've had this run, as you know, I've been listening to you, but I haven't been able to come on and contribute because I've had this run since late September where I'm running the office at night, most nights except for Saturday, but sometimes on a Sunday. So it was nice to get back down again because I haven't been able to get to any of the away games, which has been disappointing. But, some of the stuff that's coming through. I don't want to, jump up the top of the mountain and start shouting, "We're going up, we're going up, we're going up." I did like, by the way, your attitude as to why you would prefer going to watch Championship games. This is what you said the other week.
Yeah.
But rather than go to the Premiership. But the man is doing a job, but the players are doing a job as well. And some players have stepped up. Obviously, I am a bit disappointed this season with the drop in form from my mate Eddie the Truck. But then again, anything could happen when he comes back from AFCON. But I think at the moment, a lot of people are saying that we are playing as a team, and I would totally agree with that. We are playing as a team.
I think the thing with KMB is that, I mean, if you look back at the first game we won away since February, he got the penalty, he got the header. Everybody's there. He can be a useful tool in the arsenal of this particular club. He's a player that will get to play on occasions. I think it's where and how. So, for example, Javi was deploying him wide right. In the position that we saw Marma play today, but we know Marma plays off the left. We know Tom Tom Ince can swap with him. Not really his role. Yes, he can play as a second number 8 if there's a 3-man midfield, or a first number 8 as a second man midfield. But it's really kind of finding where he sits within this system. I've got no real big issues with Kayembe personally, but I do understand why people think, and why when Caden came on and said, "Oh, Kayembe," because he does have that propensity to slow the ball down. And if you looked at us today, when we went with pace, and we haven't had pace because we just weren't using, for various reasons, we weren't seeing Iran Kunda getting a lot of game time, etc. for a period. Semedo came on, we're suddenly rapid, we're suddenly bombing forward, and in that particular position within this kind of whole setup, a player who's going to put his foot on the ball and 9 times out of 10 push the ball backwards, it doesn't help us. We had players today who, when we broke, played the ball into space to run onto. I mean, at one point, a Bankwa, I think it was, found the space for even Musa Sissoko to go and win a foot race. Play the ball in, turn them, because it means that the opposition can't come up as high all the time. And we did that today, and it was really effective. And I think that's where Edo causes us some problems when in possession. I think he can still be used in certain times and in certain ways. We'll see. We will see. But I don't see us bringing in an additional winger anytime soon, as was suggested there, because you know what, we've got stacks of those. I just wanted, before you go on there, Ollie Potter, keep right on. He's a Birmingham fan. He's come on and said, "Well played. You deserved that win." He said, "Our manager just publicly apologised to us. You guys showed character." Thanks very much indeed for that, Ollie. Much appreciated. That's good. That's good indeed. Last caller for today. Thank you very much indeed for that, as ever, Nelly. Have a safe drive back, and good to have you at the ground. Let's get across to Danny. Let's find out where Danny is, because Danny sometimes is sitting in traffic. They'll sometimes have a food before they journey Northampton bound. Danny, how you doing? Oh, you were there. Now you're gone. There you go. We've done so well up until that point, and then everything went a bit tits up. Never mind.
Hello, Pete.
Hello, Dan. How you doing, sir? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Just got home, so.
Oh, there you. Oh, I was going to. Well, look, there you go. Who came down today? Was you and Becky?
Me, Becky. Yeah, me and Beck. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Well, it's a daft question to say, how are you? We've just had Christmas. We've just had New Year. We're now sitting on 12 points. We're in 4th. We should be cock a hoop. Just tell me what your thoughts are looking forwards towards Hull, and what do you take out of everything that's gone on moving forward? Go on.
You know what? This team has had this in us all season. It just needed, a manager like Javi, and just to make a couple of tweaks. And look at us now. I mean, let's rewind back a year ago. We just lost 3-1 to QPR.
Yep.
Looked like Cleverley was on the way out. Everything was doom and gloom. And you fast forward another a year, all these players that's coming in the summer. You got a manager like Javi, he just gets Watford. I don't know what it is, but he just gets Watford. And now look at us. I mean, what was it? 4 games ago, 4 or 5 games ago, we were mid-table, bottom reaches of the table, and now that's what it takes. You win 4 on the bounce, and now we're looking like we're 3 points off automatic. It's a complete turnaround. But let's just see how serious Gino and Scott are. Will they give Javi what he wants?
Well, I think one of the reasons why they brought him back in is, one, because he understands the club, exactly as you say. Yeah. So there's understanding the club, and then there's understanding the organisation. Yeah. And I think he knows what he's dealing with, and that's an advantage for us, because so many managers come in and go, "Oh my God, I didn't know it was going to be like this." And he's developed everything, and it's been slowly kind of, improving. Slow, I make no apologies. I was coming out going, "Crikey, we've gone 8 matches with only 1 defeat," and then that number kept going up and up and up. And yes, a lot of those early ones were draws, but it was a bit like when we were talking last year about under Tom Cleverley, and we were saying we're winning games at in the late margins, in the last margins. It only needs a small push for it to go the other way. I feel like he's pushed the barometer back in our favour again, and today, okay, you can turn around and say, and I don't like dismissing teams who've turned up, and Ollie's been lovely and come on and spoken and said, that they weren't pleased with what they've done, etc. You can only beat the team who turns up against you. But Birmingham are the only team to have beaten it in this run. They are different away from home to how they are at St Andrews, where they've got an absolute rabid bunch of supporters who scream them on, and quite right. And it's a great asset to have, and it will build them as a club going forward. But going and getting that result to them, regardless of Stansfield, regardless of Damari Gray, regardless of anything else that they didn't have, Clara, etc., you've got to only beat the team who's in front of you. And today we did it convincingly. It feels like the margins keep being pushed. It feels like that sense of momentum is going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I can't remember a convincing win like that. Yes, we beat Middlesbrough 3-0, but I think that genuine Middlesbrough were just very poor. But I mean, Birmingham poor today, but we were just we just looked so convincing. Every time we went forward, we looked like we were going to score. You could argue maybe sort of the last 10 minutes or so we sort of dropped off a little bit because you knew the game was done then, so the players didn't have to push forward as much. But as far as a complete team performance to go, it's up there. I mean, we've got to mention Tom Ince. I mean, it was one of them. I think Duxbury come out last night or in the notes said is, we've recruited a lot of young players, but it's the old dog that's won us the game today. Simple. Yeah. It's
the old dog. That's nice, isn't it? Well done, Tom. Congratulations. Now we'll call you an old dog. It was fascinating because people were coming in on after the game at Norwich and saying Tom Ince, you could see what he was doing and how he was doing it, and he's got that ability when he was inverted on the right to push into centre. And then he was, if anybody watched the game back afterwards, again, also, he was spreading the ball out to Othman Mama. The amount of times he would be in the midfield doing that, I thought he was putting in a great set of work.
Yeah, he didn't drift in much as the centre today, did he? He was more literally tucked away on that left. And I mean, it's paid off, hasn't it?
Because he's on his left, he'll stay out there and use that left. But he did kind of come in and get involved for, 3 goals and nearly a 4th. Which actually looked, and knowing some professional footballers, he will score a hat trick, but the one he'll be reliving is the 4th one that he didn't get. But no, all good.
And also, I've got to shout out Irukunda as well. I think he's getting back to his best now, Irukunda.
When we scored the 3rd one, I mean, I turned to my son. I said the best thing about that goal, bearing in mind it's Tom Ince, we've just gone 3-0 up, and Tom Ince has got a hat trick. I said, for me, the best thing about that is Irukund's back. Am I premature, as has been accused of previously in other situations?
I've been noticing it last couple of games. I thought when he come on against Leicester, he was brilliant. He come on against Norwich and obviously set up Smaida for the winner. And he's come on today at half time and he's been brilliant. I mean, it's clear that he had his problems. I think he has a lot of family problems in the after he went back to Australia. So I think that's clearly affected him. And now he's finding back to his early season form now, and he's a hell of a player. When he's running at players and so direct like that, he's a hell of a player. So long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a silly question, but I'm going to ask it. Hull, you going to be there?
Of course.
Of course he is. And look, sir, well, I mean, enjoy that. And fingers crossed, as we know now that we know that all we need is for Harry to be in the country, and we now know that the jurisdiction of the plane he's going to be on is still going to be the UK. Technically, we can't say it's a gimme, but that's fingers crossed. They have been really impressive this season because, and we'll begin putting out the opposition view. It will be out in about an hour or so because it's all done, cussed and dusted, and just needs to be loaded up, which I shall do. Yeah. We were chatting to Ant, who's a good friend of ours. We know him very well now. Like a lot of the guys we speak to on the opposition view, it's just more friends, this podcast thing. It's lovely. And what's been really impressive, they had, what's his name? Ollie McBurney. He was suddenly out for 8 games. And what happened? Joe Gelhardt stepped up to the plate. He's now injured, and now McBurney's back. and they've had other people who've kind of stepped up and done it, and they seem to be in. I don't know how they got on today. I really don't
I think
know.
they lost 1-0 today to Stoke.
Okay, that was it.
Yeah.
I know they were 1-0, but it was like 17 minutes of added time or something as I was coming back, so I didn't see how it was. But that'll be really interesting then, because if they lost at home, they'll been hoping to get put the points there. How the reaction will look like on Sunday, and who knows, with the pace that we've got in the squad, maybe a team coming on and pushing onto us might be advantageous for us.
Yeah.
With that in mind, would you consider starting with Iran Kunda and Semedo, as we were talking about earlier on? Would you consider that for the pace, maybe from the start, or would you keep things as they are?
No, 100%. I'll be looking at maybe Iran Kunda maybe coming in for Georgie. Obviously, Kieran Gard it's just not happening for him at the moment. I thought he was better today than Monday, but at the moment it's just not happening. So I'll definitely look at bringing Semedo in. Iran Kunda 100%. Obviously, Tom Ince obviously keeps his place 100%. Be interested to see if Igaki gets fit again, because I don't know where the club didn't even put out why he went on the starting today. I thought he was running the pitch at the end, so I presume he just took a knock.
I think he took a knock at Norwich, which is what brought him off. And I mean, there haven't been any over the last few weeks, because some people were asking why we hadn't put out the Javi Blah pieces, because the club haven't been putting out the press conferences on YouTube for us to be able to take that, which they allow us to do, which is nice. But they haven't done anything, probably because there's just no time between games and throwing everything together. But I mean, I imagine that's probably the reason. Probably the reason for it.
But Banco did a steady job today. Really, Banco was decent today. So.
We got told that he could play right back, and I remember he played right. Was it right back in that game at Derby where he nearly took somebody off?
He clattered him off about 2 minutes.
Absolutely mullered him. It was a thing of great joy. Well, sir, you've got to go. You've got to get back there and obviously go and make Becky's dinner, which is primarily mayonnaise and some other food substance, but mainly that. Mate, happy. I hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you had a great New Year. And
you too, bud.
Give us a shout on the way back from Hull. Let's see how things go.
Mate. Will do, mate. Take care.
Lovely stuff. There you go. There's Danny. Well, look, thank you everybody for. Oh, hold on. I'm having a fight, and let's be honest, it's not really working. He's there. That's good. Right, let's get to Mr. Foster, and then we'll get in, because Ian's here. Ian, how you doing? Hit your mic button. Ian, are you there? Oh, we were doing so well. No, Ian doesn't seem to be there. Add a speaker. Let me try again. Ian, it tells me you can now speak, but speaking you are not. So I'm presuming you're gone. Okay. All right. Never mind. Well, let's go to something else, which I just wanted to quickly do. There has been, and people will have seen it either in the program if you get it, but obviously people don't get the program anymore because there isn't a program. You may have seen it on the website. You may have seen it on the website. It said go to the digital digest, which not everybody read. But there were some bits that were put out on Twitter, and Twitter, as with all social media. Oh, hold on. Is that Ian?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't think I wasn't actually requesting to speak, but I might have done it by accident.
Oh, well, that's all right. Well, in that case,
I just cooked my dinner.
Oh,
and I'm listening to it while I'm cooking my dinner, and I just put it on the side of next to the sink and everything to listen while I'm eating my dinner, and I don't know what happened.
Well, I think
here I am.
There is a question that we need to know, and I think everybody listening, what is it that you're having for your dinner, Ian? What have you made?
Well, I'm now 58. I'm trying to eat healthy, so I've got steak, I've got broccoli and vegetables, and a glass of red wine to celebrate.
I'll be honest with you, it was a strong start, and then it went into the broccoli area, but it picked back up again with the red wine. I'm liking that. Well, so you go and enjoy that in its primary condition, and I will catch you next time, no doubt. But Ian's lovely stuff. Let me wish you a very happy New Year. There's Ian. There's Ian going off to enjoy his steak and assorted otherments. I was just talking about Scott Duxbury put out this thing, and it referenced various things, and a few people it reacted exactly as I did, which is we called out earlier on in the year. Well, when it's not going well, where's Scott Duxbury? And suddenly, we've had a good win. And there was a quote from Scott Duxbury about, talking about how good Javi was. And I kind of reacted in that way as well. Then I went to the Digital Digest and had a look at what he said. And it's quite comprehensive. And he wasn't coming out on the basis of, we've done some good wins, so let's do it. It was more of about a state of the union of the club and the fact that it's the new year, effectively. So I thought what I would do is just take you briefly through it, just so that if you're listening, you can hear what's been said, because not everybody will read the full the full article. But I think it does warrant reading and reacting to, positively or negatively, based on exactly what has been put out, rather than just excerpts of it, because there's no end of people on social media who will take offense at 2 words or 3 words that I or other people might say out of many, many words indeed. It's best to deal with it in full. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to quickly set a couple of bits up and then go in and read that through to you if you're on audio, but also share with you on the screen. Basically, what he's come out and said, Happy New Year to you all. That was an end to 2025, that was, i.e. the games. We've all been involved in football long enough to know there are no guarantees, but the last 3 games have given us all a reason to quietly believe the team is gaining momentum as we go into the second half of the season. Javi has been fantastic since he returned. We knew from his first spell at the club that he just gets what Watford is all about. He understands the culture, the people, and recognise what it means to the fans. And I think that's reasonable. But when you read that coupled with the timing, you're kind of going, well, you're doing this. But he goes on and on. But it's good stuff to hear, just to see. There is a connection which has been reflected in the way the team now plays with adventure and attacking intent. You can feel the excitement, and it's the energy Gino spoke about before the season started. Nobody ever takes anything for granted, but our intention before a ball was kicked was to be in the promotion mix, and that hasn't changed. The other aim was to sustain financial viability through our recruitment model. Recruitment underpins pretty much everything about the club, and our track record of signing young players and seeing them shine in a Watford shirt as they develop before going on to bigger things has been clear for all to see in recent years. I think that's again a reasonable observation, but you can see we're getting onto more in other areas. The rich pipeline of talent continues, but that's why our recruitment strategy in the summer was based around a particular age profile. There is always inconsistency with young players, but we are prepared to show patience, let them grow, and then reap the rewards from their development. There is no better example than Othman Mama. He came to us in the summer as an unknown quality and extremely raw, and it's testament to the work of the coaching staff, the backroom staff, and the player himself that he's been developed into a player of glittering promise. It is also a source of real pride that the best young player in Africa wears a Watford shirt. Javi gave him his chance because he's a coach who has a track record of working with young players and is committed to playing them even in a demanding and physical league like the Championship. As a result, there is a fearlessness and vibrancy about this team, which is so exciting. We fielded the youngest starting 11 in the Championship so far, and that youthful energy has been a major reason behind our ability to keep going and win so many points from losing positions. Now, anybody who's listened to me go on will know that my particular position on that is it would be good if we didn't go behind. Scott continues, obviously, we would much rather getting our noses in front first, as it would make match days a lot calmer for everybody. See today for details and the conversation about breaking on teams because we're a goal in front and then suddenly playing to our strengths, maybe. But sport is about entertainment, and it's a thrilling ride so far this season. Even before the transfer window opens, speculation is feverish amongst fans, which is entirely understandable. Anybody who attended the recent fans forum will know part of what Javi, Gianluca, Vallon and I discussed was the need to trim the squad because there are players who aren't even making the bench. With Bar and Vata to return soon, it's clear there will be even more competition in the matchday squad, and other players may have to leave, but they will only be the ones that Javi believes would benefit from a fresh start. Nobody will leave that Javi doesn't want to lose. That being said, we are in constant discussion with Javi about squad strength, and if an opportunity presents itself, we will move. So that to me doesn't sound like we're going to necessarily sell a couple of jewels and then go and sign, for example, as Caden said, a winger from Ajax. Summer maybe, but not in January. I wouldn't have thought. And if you're Javi, and they're going to have to really be, somebody's going to have to be really stumping up cash for Loser, who's absolutely at the heart of everything we do, in order for him to go. Scott Duxbury continues. Off the pitch, there is much to be proud of. So many good people at this club do so many good things, and sometimes that gets lost amid the frenzy of results. The special edition kit was a thing of beauty, and to see Elton here at Vicarage Road with his sons all wearing the kit to celebrate 50 years of the involvement with the club was a special moment. It's our fastest ever selling shirt, and that says a lot about the retail and marketing operations we have here at the club, but also the commitment of the fans and the broader and wider appeal of the club. The hospitality offering at the club is something of which we are really proud. We had 3 stands when we assumed control of this club, and now we have a hospitality offering, the envy of some Premier League clubs. We said goodbye to a few long-serving members of staff this season, and we thank them for their years of service and the legacy they left, particularly Richard Walker, Gail Clark, Richard Lyne, and our Head of Academy Technical Development, Jimmy Gilligan, who departed the club this season for a new opportunity, but leaves the academy in safe hands after his transformative work alongside Richard Johnson. It was fitting that we reached the semi-final of the FA Youth Cup in his final season with us, because it was winning the Youth Cup with us as a player that launched Jimmy's career. I was at that final, just saying. Yes, I am that old. He carries on. Oh, come on. Here we go. We'll get there in the end. There is a bit of an old-fashioned boot room feel to the academy now, with Micah Hyde back and the club legends Maps and Lloyd, that's Lloyd Doyley obviously, earning their coaching spurs alongside Charlie Daniels and Dan Gosling. The women's team is primed for a battle for promotion, and it was a feather in our cap to see former loanee Michelle Aguimang win the young player of the tournament at last summer's Euros. That shows the calibre of players Helen Ward is able to attract and the pathway the women's team provides. I continue to be astounded and immensely proud of the work that we do in the community, largely through the Community Sports and Education Trust. I was told the social value of the Trust's work is 22.7 million, which is just remarkable. Graham, GT, I'm sure would be really proud. Thank you to all the patrons, trustees, staff, players, volunteers, supporters, donors, sponsors, and community sponsors. The new family zone at the stadium on a match day is generating a real buzz and is emerging as a real focal point for fans to meet. It was great to see it recognised in a family excellence report from the EFL, particularly the involvement of players. That's what this club is about. On that subject, I was moved by a heartfelt letter I received from a mum who took time out to thank the players for interacting with her son during a chance meeting at a hotel recently. She said she was even emotional as she typed it. Her teenager is having a difficult time at school, and the impromptu chat and game of pool with the players lifted his spirit and may have been converting him from a Spurs to a Watford fan. I think we can all agree, commuting a sentence worse than death, clearly. Spurs, can you imagine? In this special moment with the players, it's this special moment with the players and the family ethos that underlines just why we have more than 5,550 junior members. I'm presuming that's the junior Hornets or what have you. There is a lot to be proud of about this wonderful community-based and progressive football club. I'm really excited about what this new year will bring. Thank you for your continued support through thick and thin. Best wishes, de-blah, 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 de-blah. That was the full piece. So you've had to sit through that. But you can understand why. I mean, it's not just talking about one thing. It's a State of the Union about how everything sits. And I think there is a lot to be pleased about. I think there is a lot to be proud of. There is still a lot to improve upon. And, I believe that we're going to be getting to hear more about the fan supporters board, which hopefully will go on and help carry on that and improve it ongoing. That could be something that's really beneficial for everybody. And as you can probably tell, because that's across, let's have a look, 17 different slides I've just shown there, which I had to do that earlier on. It wasn't just because we won 4-0. It was there already. And then Gino came out with something. So I was nearly late because I needed to then put this one in. which is Gino's statement. They might as well put it out. He said, I hope you all had a restful and peaceful Christmas and New Year, but while many of you will have had some time off, the championship never stops. And I think Watford fans will have been happy about that. We are so excited about this young and talented group of players developing under Javi's expert tuition, and I'm sure we can all see the seeds of a successful team starting blossoming to provide bright days ahead of the club. There are no guarantees in football, but we will always strive to build a team supporters can be proud of, one that can be successful in the short term, but also help secure the future of the club for years to come. Together, I want us to enjoy this ride, and I wish you a very healthy, every health and success in 2026. So, you know, it's all fairly sort of, you know, nice, frivolous stuff. That last one, you know, is kind of the thing that you expect to be practically written on behalf. And if it was, I wouldn't be surprised. And if it wasn't, so what? It's just the kind of stuff that you need to put out. But there was a lot of stuff there, you know, from Duxbury, I think, from Scott Duxbury, that was there is a lot to be positive about. The players that we're seeing, all of the conversations that we've had here, I don't think we're a million miles away from the truth of it, which is we've got a young squad, we've got a young team, and there's something to get hold of. Today, we've seen, hopefully, it push in the right direction. And we're left sitting there going, is this pushing in the right direction? It absolutely feels like it is, and it feels like it's pushing further still. Do you disagree with him? Well, for me, if you're so pleased with the Watford women's team, it'd be lovely to see you down there, Scott. I'm just saying. It's a great thing to throw in, but offering more cohesion to the women's team would I think, be welcomed. The A are doing very well, and they'll be playing on Saturday away at Plymouth. I don't think I can get down to it. I don't think I've probably got that many points in the bag at the moment. So there's a couple of things that could be done and improved. Hopefully, the supporters board and everything else will go towards that. That would be great. That would be really something, wouldn't it? So there we go. Right, let us get to. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's get through to the 5-word reviews quickly, and limericks and all of that sort of stuff. David Lavender says, let me get it on screen a second. Dave Lavender says, the players were on their knees. The Birmingham players were on their knees at the end. I bet they are glad they haven't got to play us ever again this season. Smitty, absolutely bloody fantastic. And then WFC Chef quality. Hashtag number 9 away from autos. Impressive. James DJ says the Hornets sting Birmingham. Birmingham's Brum. Oh, I see what you've done there. That's nice. Gareth says clean sheet. Tick. Convincing win. Tick. Cheers. Cheers, sir. Have a good one. Mal, hello, Mal, says, hope we don't lose our best players in the transfer window. Well, he said that he's not going to be releasing anybody that, you know, Javi's going to want. That's stated. That's there on the record. Is Javi really going to want to get rid of two players? One who's been absolutely instrumental in everything, and the other one who's just really sort of coming good back again. Tom Ince, 2026 top scorer, says Kevin. Hey, it's Kev. Mark Carpenter says bit greedy, but 4 or 5 would have flattered them. Yeah. I don't disagree. We come back to Gary's point earlier on, Gaz, when he went, we could have given somebody a good twatting. Yeah, maybe we could have done. When the opposition manager comes out and apologizes to the supporters, you know they haven't played well as far as they're concerned. That's fine, but you've also done enough. Maybe some more would have helped. 4 is always basically a thrashing, isn't it? 3 is a good going over. We done, boys. Love it, says Angela Snelling. Hello, Angela. Frank says, not sure how to celebrate. I'd suggest with a pot noodle and a box of tissues. Cobbers says, Uncle Ron, time to believe. I doubt that'll happen. Pete Willis Jones says, this team are the bollocks. He says, oh, John Parslow meeting with Aurelio says, we're going up. He says, oh, lovely. I like that. Mal's back. He says, a team really on fire. John Parslow, great new signings. Iran Kunda and Bar. Iran Kunda and Bar, you're not wrong. This is the medical team getting them done and trying to keep as many of them fit. But if they hadn't, in a way, been out of the team, would we have seen Mama? I don't know. Doubt it. No tracker backer needed today, says Cobbers. Well done. Well, I like that. Dr. Dickie Sutton says, Javi building something really special. John Parslow says, what a Peaky Blinders performance. Ed Hater says, a warm and fuzzy feeling. Simon Parkin says, tight defense leads to wins. I think that's absolutely pivotal. 3 clean sheets out of 4. That is a slow, incremental improvement that's taken a long time to come, but God, is it good to have it here. Pete Ryan says, score first, dominate, crush, Ince. Michael Froome, hey, Mike, says, we're actually brilliant, aren't we? Mike's so far gone past the getting carried away stage. I like that. John Parzo says, how did Ince miss that? I think that's the fourth one. Ben, full up on Ince pies. He says, nice. I like that, Ben. Very good indeed. Love to you and Jarvis. Willie Eckers says, don't peak too early, boys. Oh, nice. That's better than I just read it out. I like that. Andy Smith, 4 wins in a row. Top 6, blimey. Here we go, Brian. He says, we were coasting. That's frightening. Justin said, tinnitus triggered by Family Zone music. We talked about the Family Zone, and it was something actually you're absolutely right to mention. Turn the bloody music down. We recorded how loud it was. It was louder than fireworks. It was at 145 decibel or something, 148 decibel. Ridiculous. We then recorded the tannoy at half time, and it was just about half the volume. It doesn't have to be so loud. You've got it's a great thing that you've done. It's just a tiny thing. It's called a volume knob. Turn it down. Pete, sorry, that was my miserable old git approach. I apologize, everybody. Pete says, my 28-1 doesn't look stupid. There was a format, there was a prediction if ever there was. Chris Howe says, HMS piss in the league again. Oh dear. Fazana Chandri says, daring to hope and dream. Don't hope. That we know that. Dream, yes. Hope, no. No. Gaz says, boom, happy birthday to me. Yeah, happy birthday to you, sir. Harry says, 2026 team of year of Tom Ince. Ryan Cripps says, here's to dry January. We are so back. Yeah, I got to say, Ryan, doesn't look like dry January is that dry. Just saying. Brian's back. Thank you, Paul, for having sex with Mrs. Ince. That simply the best tweet ever. Are we actually quite good? Asked Vic Bate at the start. Dandelion. Hello, Gary. Says green shoots starting to blossom. Hopefully. Let me have a quick drink. The pace in this team. This is where the personnel kick in. We didn't have much pace in the team the other week. You've got players who come in and suddenly you've got Bar, you've got Irankunda. These are genuinely potential new signings, almost like. I think we're fourth, says Wirral Steve. Brian says couple of additions and we're going to go up. Steve Woolley, let's not write KMB off just yet. We are only an injury away from him being our most creative midfielder for the run-in. So many players have shown improvement over the last couple of months, and let's not forget his brace at Derby that could arguably have galvanised this lot. That's exactly. Sorry, sir, Steve. I'm on your wavelength, and that's why I said similar stuff earlier on. But that's those are great points as far as I'm concerned. He is somewhere there. I still think he's got to find his place within the system a little bit better. For me, probably in the whole. Is probably where he's best. So the center of that 4-2-3-1, which is more like what it is. But you can change that formation. No, you can keep that formation, but change the style of the team by just changing that one player. Because you'll have, if you've got Chak, you've got one element to it. If you play KMB, you're playing it slightly more defensive. If you're playing with Irankunda, you're playing with support getting up and real straight line speed. Can make an awful lot of good stuff with that. Do excuse me a moment. Sorry about that. Lovely stuff. Ince has proved me wrong, says Jason. Ian Foster. Tight defence, we're going up. But then again, Ian says that. But then again, he said steak, and then he went on to broccoli. So I'm not sure we can trust everything Ian is saying. But he did finish with red wine. Credit where credit's due. Big Galoot says every player grafted, golden juggernaut. Paul said Ince fed properly. Yeah, that's true. Like that. Mr. Meady says ain't no stopping us now. Dylan Thompson says I apologise, Mr. Ince quality. I think we're all there. Quite remarkable. And that was it. It was Derek Armstrong. Derek, thank you. When he said quite remarkable, as David Coleman used to say. Sissoko wins foot race like that. Colin Hosier says, unbelievable. 4 in a row. Ince man of the match. Birmingham shocking. Should have been more than 3. Great to win in front of a crowd. Ian's back again. He just said, wow, Tom Ince. Lee says, just all round excellent performance. Dave Sweet, surely that finally puts credit in all those goals that he scored against us. Yes, we're talking about Mr. Tom Ince, who was, let's face it, for many games, every time he turned up, it was the equivalent of having Josh Sargent. Everybody went, oh shit, he's going to score, and he did. But yeah, he's putting credit in the bank. Absolutely. Ordering Uncle Ron signed Int shirt, says Big Galoot. Rob Sterry. Hey, Rob. Looking like a proper team. Tom Hattrick Hero, says Ryan. Dean Maloney says, new year, new Tom Ince. Quite right. Stuart Cashmore, so very, very happy. Quite right. Oh, look, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. It's been a long one, so let's get back to quickly the long forms, and then we will let you crazy kids get on with things. Here we go. I will find it in the end. We've got so much stuff reposted. Look, there's me. Horrible. Awful. I apologise for, well, pretty much everything most of the time. Here we go. John Parslow. Peter, on the Duxbury, I took a friend and his kids into the Horizons Hospitality today. That's the most basic one. Yep, that's the one at the Lower Graham Taylor. He has had hospitality elsewhere before and was astounded about how good it was. We went by the family pre-match area also. We do indeed have a lot to praise. I think it's important to realise what we've got to praise. A number of people turn around and say, oh, well, I see the do not scratch your eyes thing wasn't so long because we won and people aren't going to. Well, no, people will come on regardless of anything. However, when we lose, there's a thing in customer service where if you get bad customer service, you are likely to tell 9 people. If you get good customer service, you're likely to tell 1. So there's always kind of an emotional sort of rawness to bad displays in the same way as there is to bad customer service. I appreciate I'm forcing 2 things together. But people are here also just to enjoy it and to take it. But it's important to note that there is good stuff. It's not always all just bad. Is it the most important thing? No, because people want their football club to fundamentally win. But the other stuff that wraps around it does help the overall everything. And we seem to be moving those particular pieces in a good direction. So that is something. It's an odd thing to say we've got nice hospitality because 95% of us go, so don't really care, don't look at it, don't want it, don't need it. It's the team. But on a day like today, you can go, there's incremental improvements all over the place that head in towards the team. Good scouting, good coaching. If we can improve the finances and reduce that debt all the time, then fantastic. Or we get it to a manageable debt, but it brings in revenue. All of these things work. It's now in credit. 7 league goals scored for us, 5 scored against us, says Dr. Dicky Sutton. I'll go with your basic medical training there. Not basic, advanced medical training. Paul Fiona Turner says, lovely start to 2026. Real team performance. Players wanting to graft, having had 2 tough away games. Players geeing up the home fans. Subs coming on and trying. Even Musa, bless him. Yavi, you feckin' beauty, he says. Dr. Christian Reese says, the spanking is still coming this season, no doubt. For us or against us at the moment, I think that feels like we're going in the right direction. EI up the Football League we go. Quite right, Kishan. Paul Fiona Turner back again. Ince nearly getting 4 goals. What a time to be alive. Yeah, maybe. Top 6, blimey, says Brian. At times we were playing 4-1-4-1 formation when defending. The really nice thing I thought was the intensity with which we defended, because sometimes you can go in a low block and sit. I thought there was more intensity. There was more kind of, no, now we go, now we press, and now we do it properly, and everybody went and did it. It was a great performance. What can you say? Ince rightly gets the plaudit, says Dr. Dicky Sutton. Amazing turnaround for a player who couldn't get in the matchday squad under Pet Solano. Very good point. Also, what's an important thing with Tom Ince is all his time that he's been there, you haven't heard anything attributed to him in any way, shape, or form that's negative, and he hasn't had the game time that he would want, or judged on performances this season, potentially warrants after today. Be interesting to see whether or not he can get more. We can get yet more out of him. Fingers crossed. Carl Campion says, totally endorsed Brett, not going to the Vic with a hangover. A hangover in the fan zone with that DJ decibel could have been fatal. This is very true indeed. Latest, last 10 games, top of the of the form table. Yep, that's lovely. That's nice. We're doing well, as are Sheffield United and Ipswich. Watford Limerick, we will finish. Bet Louis is ruining, not bunging a monkey on the Ince hat trick like I told him to at 2-0 says Justin. Dandelion Gary. He says, Put this in the chiller, please, and it's a bottle of sangria. I like that. Well, if you recall, when he first came back, Jeff Doyle of Three Counties Radio, the excellent Three Counties Radio, and indeed the excellent Jeff Doyle, actually, bought him a bottle of sangria, and he's taken it and he's put it to one side, and they're going to drink it at the end of the season. If that's not covered live by Three Counties Radio, I'm calling it. Do you think we are playing like Atletico Madrid? Asks Carl Wilson. Hey, Carl. Flip Flop WFC says, get Kenyon Davis back. You mean Keenan Davis, I think, there, for the rest of the season. Carl's back again. He says a winning team never feels tired or feels injuries. Very true. It's very true. But we've had the squad there, and we have not had many injuries, which is why we've got a lot of players who aren't available. Who aren't in the match day squad, I should say, who are fit and available. And we've gone, well, why haven't you used him or him or him? And that's what he's saying. That to me, when I looked at that, suggests that if we're going to bring anybody in, it's not going to be many, but we are going to see some of that, not dead wood, but we're going to see some of that surplus to requirement squad probably move out. So I'm not thinking it's going to be a huge amount. But if we do bring something in, it's got to be something that's got players who are going to bring and add something to that squad and that team and that possibility for Javi for certain. No point bringing in stocking fillers to use the Christmas equivalent. Dave Carmen said, looking forward to seeing this new youngster Ince over the next few years. Yes, I wonder what might achieve. Zlatan said that's the quietest I have ever seen the Birmingham fans from all their visits here. I can understand why. They couldn't cope with Ince moving inside all the time, and they didn't know how to mark him, says Carl. That's Carl Wilson. Watching Watford says, personally, if we lose Loser, we're 100% not signing another winger. No, I don't think that's true. I agree with you. It's a Tom Ince world. We're just living in it, says Ryan Doozer. Hey, Ryan. Carl Wilson says, Wendover had a shower at half-time. I had a poo, so all good. Well, did you put it in a package and send it to somebody in Margate? Because that's what happens. Oh, hello, Thomas is out. He's got the HMS Piss the League sign. And he's also said, it's plain talk time. yes, we did get, I'll be honest with you, more about sovereignty speak on a plane than I think I expected, or indeed did warranted. But hey, it's us. We're going to go there. Jake says, as Birmingham would say, keep right on. 4 in a row, we absolutely battered them. Playoffs, my arse. Automatics, he says, like that's fighting talk. Or just himself asks, watching Watford. I don't know what that was referring. Is this guy going to talk about the game? That was, well, no, I did try to push Nelly towards that in terms of that. But let's be honest, Harry and Harry's team, Harry and Harry's family, they're 4 for 4. I mean, yeah, they've got to take this stuff seriously. Let's finish this with Watford Limericks. The year is just one short day old, and a familiar story is told. At the front and the back, in defence and attack, the Golden Boys really are gold. Very, very good. Very, very good. So, where are we with everything? 4 wins in 4 games. Can we make it 3 wins in 3 consecutive away matches? If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. But it's a very, very encouraging opportunity and start to the year. So we'll just enjoy that and see where we go with it. Thank you as ever for everybody who gets involved and helps out. I've got to say a massive thank you to the Patreons, because this season we decided to do stuff on video and various bits and bobs, and we use various bits of software which we're very fortunate some of the Patreons put a little bit in to help us basically have that and to try to improve, one, the amount that we have, but secondly, the quality of it that we're able to put out for you. So a massive thank you to them, and that's also the reason why talking about kind of sponsors in terms of what can we do to be able to take it all to the next level. Ideally, you don't care about that. The question is, what can Watford do to take it to the next level? Well, it all starts on Sunday away at Hull City. Fingers crossed we will be in with you after and there to discuss whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's indifferent. We will see. We're all Watford and we'll enjoy that, whatever it is. Come rain, come shine, or indeed, come Hull. You ons.